Hello everyone. In this live coding demo, we're going to enhance this recipe page that was introduced earlier. We're going to use lots of tags and attributes that we learned about in this module. So as you probably guessed, this page is going to describe some of my favorite recipes. At the moment, as recipe pages go, this is a very bland page. So we're going to spruce it up visually and use some semantic tags to assist the visually impaired as well as you, the developer. We're not introducing anything new here. We're just going to put together everything we've learned into creating a richer piece of content. Let's get started. Okay, I have a very rough outline of my first recipe here, and clearly we've a lot of work to do. The first thing I'm going to do is give this first recipe a title. This one is going to be my soup recipe, and so I'll display that in a H2 heading element, like so. Every decent recipe book is filled with pictures of culinary delights, so our page should be no different. If you look at the Explorer panel here in Visual Studio, you can see I have an images folder already here for this site, and if you click on the soup image, you can see that's a nice picture of some delicious soup. So let's use that for this particular recipe. So to do that, I'll just close that and come back to my HTML, and I'll use the image tag to define this image. As you may have seen before, this picture lies in the images folder of our site, so it's a relative path images/soup.jpg. And if I was to start, I'll add some alt text, as we always recommend. A nice bowl of soup. And you can see I have that bowl of soup, those two bowls of soup now showing on my page. One more thing I want to do here is just to use my width attribute to make sure that that image sits nicer on the page. I think that looks a lot better. Great, so now we have an image for our lovely recipe. So our recipe looks pretty good for now. I'm not going to actually include real ingredients or actual steps in the recipes just for the sake of time, but I will recommend that you look at the description here of the recipe, and when you are adding content to a page like this, it's always good to have a light voice to your content. So I'll just paste in an example there of something I might write for this. And I'm also using the quotation element that we came across before to actually have an inline quote from Beethoven. So there's some nice content for us to introduce the steps for this particular recipe. So as the page continues, you can imagine adding more recipes. And so what I would do here, just to save some time, I think what I will do is I'll just copy and paste what we have so far, and I'll create more recipes. So the next one might be a salad, and the salad will probably use a salad image. Makes more sense. You can see that's got a salad image, a nice plate of salad, and the width tag for this image element suits me nicely as well. I'll paste in another descriptive piece of content just so we can have some uniqueness to each of our recipes. So I have soup, I have salad. I think I'll conclude with a nice recipe for pizza. So I'll change my H2 tag. I'll add my pizza image. A warm pizza pie. And then I will add in some text about this particular recipe. And when I scroll down, you can see now I have 3 recipes. Each one comes with an image, ingredients, a little bit of content, and some steps to create these wonderful meals. So that's what the recipe page now looks like, and I think you'll agree, it looks a lot richer. And so we won't do much more with the page from a visual perspective. What I'd like to do finally here is just use some semantic tags that will aid not just you, the developer, but also the visually impaired as we move along. So you can imagine developing a page like this, and as a developer, it's really hard to distinguish between each of the various recipes, and where the recipes are very standalone, and this means they're a great candidate for the article semantic tag. So I'll surround each of these recipes with the article semantic tag, and I'll do that as follows. So just above, for example, the soup recipe, I'll just add article, the opening tag, and I'll close it. I'll surround the complete soup recipe with my article tag, and I'll do the exact same for my salad, and finally for my pizza. So now I have 3 recipes, each distinguished by an article element inside my page, and I'll save my page. You can see that has no effect visually at the moment on anything, but there could be screen readers that would use this tag in order to help the visually impaired understand the contents of this page, and possibly as well in a developer environment these tags may be useful for collapsing and expanding articles in this page content. And finally, we can use these article tags to extract content that is independent and use it in other sources such as blog posts or on other pages. So that's the use of the semantic tag called article. Now I think what really stands out here is we have multiple recipes. It might be nice to jump from one recipe to the other, or to have a table of contents at the very top. So let's go ahead and create that table of contents. So to save some time, I'll paste in a set of links. That is my table of contents. And as you can see, these are all local links to content on the page, which is recognizable with this hash symbol before these IDs. Now the articles themselves are actually where we would place IDs. So this one would be called ID equals soup, and then we would have set the ID for the salad recipe, and we will set the ID for the pizza recipe. So now we have at the very top of our page a little table of contents, and if I click, I'll be brought down to each of these recipes. Now that's what we want, and it looks great. I think that's a great step forward. But again, if I was developing this page, and imagine we had 20 recipes on this page, and I come to this as a developer, I may not immediately understand the purpose of this set of links. And if I'm a screen reader, I too might not know what this group of links is for. So this is where the nav semantic element comes in. So by surrounding this list of links with the nav semantic tag, we're sharing more information about the intent or the meaning of this set of links. We're telling the screen readers, we're telling the developers that this is meant as a navigation element for our page, and perhaps in certain browsers these navigation links may show up differently and allow us to visualize this set of links in a different manner. So that's it. Now we have our page. I'll just save it. You can see that it's a richer page from when we started, and it has some of the main elements that I wanted to show you, as well as some semantic tags. And that concludes this live coding session. Bon appetit!